Well guys, if you've been out on the beach and you've enjoyed yourself like I have here on Bribie Island, there's one fundamental thing you got to do to stop your rig turning into a rust bucket. It's no good anymore, and that is wash it and give it a thorough clean. I'm going to show you how I do it. So we've made it home safe and sound, and the first thing that I like to do is to pull out the mats that are in my car, because look at all the sand. It's captured the whole lot, and it's as easy as hold up the edges, slide them out and empty it off. I'm going to chuck them on the ground and I'm going to use a pressure cleaner to pressure clean them off front to back. Then I'll put them in the tray so they can dry out. Get them warm, chuck them back in, and job done. So this is where we get into the nitty gritty of getting all that salt, sand and all the yuck from the beach and the bush and everywhere else off your four-wheel drive. I like to start with an underbody spray. So I've bought a solution that dissolves the salt, makes it easy to get the sand off, all that sort of stuff. And I like to use one of these little gizmos to get it off. So the first thing I like to do is to get this underbody spray all put underneath this car, under the wheel arches and all of that stuff, to let it soak and start dissolving the salts and all of those contaminants that are up under this truck. So I'm going to get that done, then I'm going to get some of the foam done on the outside and show you some sponge work. So once we've got all the underbody covered into that salt dissolving stuff, it's time to get onto the bodywork. So if you duck into Supercheap, they actually have a particular wash that does your bodywork. But there's something to think about. What am I doing wrong here? Have any of you picked it up? Well, I'm doing this in direct sunlight, so it's not ideal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash it down, get it clean, then I'll hose it down and I'll shammy it off as quick as I can. These make the job so easy, and it looks cool as well. So the way I like to do it is to put a full layer of thick soap all over the car. Leave it for a little while because it'll dissolve all the salts and they'll start to run off the car, as you can see. Once I'm happy that it's soaked in enough, I'm going to gurney it off with fresh water, and then I'll hit it again with soap, and then I'll sponge it. Because if you do it too soon, all the sand particles and everything is still there, and you might actually scratch and damage your car when you're giving it the old sponge treatment. Now while I'm getting the first coat of soap off the car and all the sand and everything off the car, I've let the underbody stuff soak as well. So I'm going to give that a bit of a hit around the wheel arches, all underneath what I can with this head, and then I'll swap it to the under one just to get all that stuff off as well, because it's dissolved for long enough now. So when I was putting the underbody spray to dissolve the salt and the sand and everything else, I focused on all these holes. So there's a hole here in the chassis. What you want to do now is get a hose in that hole, put water in that hole until it's flushing through the chassis and it's draining out nice and clean. And watch down along the chassis rail and you can see it physically coming out on all the drain holes along the chassis rail. So I'm going to do that at stages along the chassis, like find a hole, put the hose in it, flush it again, flush it again, flush it again. Because the more you do that, the cleaner it's going to be and the longer the car's going to last. So one of the last things that I would recommend, and maybe I've missed something, if I have, comment below, but you've got cross members and all that sort of stuff that are running left to right across the chassis. When you flush out the rails themselves, you're not actually flushing those out as well, or they might have a bit of a concave where stuff gets stuck up on top of them. So it's always good, stick your head under, you know, and just wash out all of those cross members. And with the Hilux, for instance, there's little hidden nooks and crannies. So here's one here. I've already hosed out under there, and there's heaps of sand right here in this little hidden space. So it's always handy to get up into these little spots that most people don't even ever think about. So another part of washing your four-wheel drive after the beach, under the bonnet, in the engine bay. What do? Well, what I do is I give it a little bit of foam, I let it soak for a few minutes, and then I give it a very, very light hose down. The soap's all soaked in and it's dissolved all the salts and everything else. I'm going to use the pressure cleaner. So if you're going to use a pressure cleaner, be very, very wary, and I'm going to demonstrate why you don't put it close to electrical components. Can you see the mud and the dirt that are pulled out of the ground? Like, we have literally just dug a hole. If we do it from up here, dissolves the soap and it doesn't penetrate the ground. Same with the electrical stuff. We can dissolve the soap, not penetrate into those electrical components and damage your car. So if you're not confident with a high pressure cleaner, avoid using one at all and just use your garden hose, just with a spray nozzle or something on the end of it. I've done it plenty of times. I'm pretty confident that I know what I'm doing, so I'm going to use this. One other tip, make sure you avoid this felt that's on the underside of your bonnet because a gurney and water will wreck it. So if it doesn't need to be cleaned, just leave it dry. See how I've just gone around it? So I've just done the painted surfaces, but I haven't wet the felt. So that's the way to do it. Well, there you have it, guys. If you're satisfied that you've got all the soap, the salt, the sand, the mud, whatever it may be that's under this bonnet, you've just got to give it one last little inspection. And that's look down in these real tight spaces where you can see the paintwork or what have you, and you can see if there's any dirt, mud, sand, whatever left in there. If there is, give it another foam, give it another hit with a hose, whatever you need to do. But I'm satisfied that this looks absolutely brand new under there, and that is a job done. So now's the time when we're going to get the sponge to do all the hard work and finish the job off. So I'm going to put a little bit of car wash, body wash treatment into a bucket. You know, you're probably meant to measure it and stuff, but that'll do. And then I'm going to fill this bucket 3/4 of the way with the hose, trying to create some bubbles. And I'm going to chuck this sponge, or I don't know what you call it, a microfiber noodle cloth, into the bucket. Why do I use a microfiber noodle cloth and not a sponge? Well, when you use one of these cloths, what happens is the sand and the dirt goes down to the bottom of the noodle, and the rest of the noodle is gentle on your paint. It won't mark your paint. When you use a sponge, it sits on the surface of the sponge. Some of it sits in the little holes and all that, granted, but it sits on the surface of the sponge, and the sponge will actually scratch your car. So this is a much, much better, more gentle solution for your paintwork. Righto, let's get some foam back on the rig. Best way to use a sponge is big long strokes. Obviously if you need to get in the corners, that's fine, but you don't want to be doing this. You do this on your paint and you'll end up with swirl marks and it'll look horrendous. So where you can, turn the sponge over regularly. Obviously there's no sand left on this car because I've already cleaned it all off. This is the second time I've soaped it up. It's exactly what we want, but just nice big broad strokes, and you'll have less chance of getting them swirl marks all through your paint. You can have 2 buckets if you want to. Have one that's clean here. If there's any big sand lumps or whatever in this, you can obviously drain it off in that bucket, then put it in the soap bucket and it's clean. So regularly rinse your sponge off. That's probably one of the greatest tips I'll give you. Even though I'm pretty confident there's no sand left on this car because I've gurneyed it off enough times, you can never be too sure. Always rinse it off, and once you have done a section, flip it over, go again. Some people say start from the bottom and work your way to the top. Doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe that's the right way, I don't know, but I like to start from the top and work my way down, because I figure as the soap and everything and water and everything's running off the car, it's taking all the nasties down that way. It's not taking them up. So what I like to do now, once I've done all the paint, is do the wheels. I don't mind using the same cloth. Some people like to use a different cloth. If you have tyre shine on your tyres, I definitely recommend using a different cloth because it is going to end up filthy, filthy dirty, but I don't. I've cleaned it twice, gurneyed it off and everything else, so I'm happy to use the same cloth. However, don't use the cloth on the paintwork once you've done your rims and tyres, because you may pick up a bit of debris. I like to do the inside of the flare as well. So picture this, you've been off-road, you've run low tyre pressure, you've been in the mud, you've been in the sand, whatever it may be, and you've got dirt and debris in your bead. When you have really, really soapy water and it's sitting in that bead and it's around your valve and all that, you'll see all the bubbles spewing out of there, which will indicate that you've got a leak. So you need to get to a tyre shop and get it fixed. There's a Lucas Red Hot tip. Hope you like that one. So there you have it. I'm done with the sponge. So I'm gonna gurney this thing off now, and then I've got one more little secret, and then we'll get it chamoised. So once you've hosed under the bonnet, I like to blow it off. So I've had to bring this thing up to the shed because I don't want to carry all the tools down there and backwards and forwards and everything else. But anyway, I'm just gonna blow this off so it gets rid of the bulk of the water. So when you're blowing it off, just focus around the electrical components that you avoided with the water, because you want to dry them off as much as you can and get the water away from those components. So all in the alternator, blow that out, blow all around the electrical components, battery terminals, like all that sort of stuff. I'm at the final stages of this clean, and then I'm gonna move on to the interior clean, so stick around for one of those episodes later on. But what am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna get the hose and I'm gonna hose this section here out all the way down on the interior into this rubber. So I wanna try and flush all the sand and all the salt that may be sitting in that zone and on the door itself. And then that way, I've got that area cleaned, ready for the chamois when I chamois the rest of it off as well. I betcha most of you forget to do behind the fuel cap. Always get in there as well, because you don't want any of that contaminants getting into your diesel. It's just a matter of giving it a quick squirt with the water. And you can even hit that with the blower if you want, just to blow it out. But make sure it's clean. If there's mud and stuff in there, you might want to hit it with a bit more hose or a bit of sponge or a soft brush. But yeah, always do behind your fuel cap as well. So last but not least, I've got to chamois it off. So this is one of the most important jobs because that's the finished product. I bought this a long time ago. It's a jumbo chamois, and I tell you what, it is unreal. I love it. It works really well. So what are the hurdles before you use a chamois? Well, that big bright thing up there. So what's happened is I've washed the car, I've rinsed the car, done all that stuff, and it's dried out before I could get to it with the chamois. As you can see, it is bone dry, so there's no point chamoising that, is there? So I'm gonna give it a quick hose down with the hose, and then when I chamois it off, it'll come up like brand new. You watch. I'm just focusing on this step here, because remember I just rinsed out that last bit of sand out of the sills? Well, any sand that's in here and in this area, I certainly don't want to get it in my chamois and scratching the car right when we're at the finish line. So just make sure you give that a really good rinse off so there's no sand left there. And the other thing to do, when you start chamoising it off, do the bit that's in the sun first. The other side's in the shade, so I need to get this chamoised off first because it will dry the quickest. Well, there you have it, guys. It's all chamoised off. It is done and not dusted. I think it looks absolutely amazing. Why would you go to so much effort? Well, you want to preserve your pride and joy, right? You want to go out onto the tracks, you want to go out onto the sand and the beach and all that sort of stuff and enjoy your ride, and it lasts as long as it possibly can and have good resale when you're done. And if you clean your car as thoroughly as I have just done, you too will have a really good car at the end of the day, long term. So hopefully you guys have learned something from this today. If I haven't done it right, comment below, because I want to know about it. Because if I'm not right, you guys might be right and I can learn something as well. So enjoy the adventure, guys. Get out there, enjoy your rig and keep it clean.